Let's talk about Goo, Sonic Youth's 1990 album that marked a major turning point, not just for the band, but for alternative music scene at large. Now, when we talk about accessibility and iconic status in music, it's rare that both qualities show up on the same album, but Goo somehow manages to do both. Now, let's start with the accessibility of the album. Before Goo, Sonic Youth were firmly rooted in the underground experimental noise rock, dissonant guitar tuning, and an almost anti-mainstream ethos. Their earlier work, like Bad Moon Rising and Evil, while brilliant, was raw and abrasive, but Goo, this was their first album on a major label, Geffen Records. That alone set the tone. They were stepping into a bigger world, but they weren't selling out. They were expanding, if you will. Musically, Goo kind of restrains their signature use of alternative tuning and guitar feedback, but it's packaged into more structured songs. Take tracks like Cool Thing or Dirty Boots, have hooks, they have grooves, and yet they're still subversive. Cool Thing, for an example, features guest verse with Chuck D from Public Enemy, blending feminist critique, pop culture irony, and punk swagger. It's catchy, but it's not dumbed down. The production of Goo is cleaner, too, thanks to Nick Cincano, who had worked with Public Enemy, and Ron St. Germain. The guitars are still noisy, but now they're placed in a mix that doesn't alienate casual listeners. You could actually hear these songs on the radio, which was like a massive leap for the band that once kind of relished in the sound of like a broken machine. So let's get into why, the iconography of it. The album cover, Raymond, Pettibon's black and white drawing of two mysterious figures with the caption, "I stole my girlfriend's boyfriend. It was a whirlwind, heat, and flash," became instantly recognizable. It was stark, it was stylish, perfectly matched for the band's cool detachment and underground appeal. It's been bootlegged, repurposed, and parodied endless ever since. But what really makes Goo, iconic as its timing was released in 1990, it arrived at the dawn alternative explosion. A year later, Nevermind would blow the doors off mainstream rock. Goo really helped lay that groundwork, showing that weird, smart, noisy music could cross over without compromise. It bridged indie and major label worlds, paving the way for Nirvana and Smashing Pumpkins and countless others. One of the album's most poignant moments comes to the track Tunic, Song for Karen. This song is a tribute to Karen Carpenter, the iconic singer of the Carpenters, who tragically passed away from the eating disorder. The song's melancholic tone and stark lyrics reflect the deep empathy for Carpenter's struggles with body image and fame. It's a beautiful, haunting track that is a far cry from the typical rock tribute. It's introspective, quiet, and raw, capturing the fragility of Carpenter's life in a way that only Sonic Youth could. This connection to the Carpenters didn't stop with Goo. In 2007, Sonic Youth contributed to the Juno soundtrack by covering Superstar, a song originally by the Carpenters. The cover still unmistakably Sonic Youth, with their signature noise and dissonant guitar, still carries the melancholic heart of the original. It's a perfect example of how Sonic Youth reverence for Karen Carpenter and her music lasting long after Goo. It's a testament of how the band could, reinterpret pop culture while keeping their own distinct edge. So to put it simple, Goo didn't water Sonic Youth down. It crystallized that made them great and gave the rest of us a chance to catch up. It made an avant-garde sound like the future of rock. In many ways it was. that's what made Goo both accessible and iconic, and it opened the gates while keeping its edge. It's an incredible record. I love Sonic Youth. I think this is the second one I've covered. I did Evil, I think, early this year, and this one, and there's so much more on the list that I can't wait to get to. But yeah, if you haven't checked this album out, check it out. Let me know what you think.